Hello guys, and welcome back to more Borderlands 3 speculation. We already broke down top 5 potential villains in a previous video. Link will be in the description down below. And today we are going to be breaking down top 5 potential Vault Hunters. Alright, so just as a little disclaimer, I obviously want to see all 4 new Vault Hunters starting out with some extra added through DLC. I don't want to see old characters or NPCs turned Vault Hunters in the final game. I think that's really lazy, but I do like to talk about it because I think it's interesting, and some of the things that people came up with, skill trees and information that they gave to these characters, is really cool and worth breaking down just to get the conversation going. So with number 1, we'll start with Tiny Tina. Obviously, ever since she came out, people have been asking for her. They've even made skill trees. They've talked about how maybe in Borderlands 3 she's a little bit older, so she's a teenager, young adult. She has a huge explosive skill tree, or she could even have a grenade skill tree. I've seen a few builds where they talk about all 4 of her weapon slots would be grenades, and then she can just kind of cycle through them instead of having traditional weapons. I've seen people talk about having her badonkadonks as weapons and using those as like a melee override or like special missiles. I've seen people talk about how she could use hot ass damsels would be one of her skills to drop mines, then players could walk on them, and a ton of stuff like that, which should all be really cool and could definitely pay off just because people have been wanting it for so long and have been asking a ton for it. So second is Asha. I made a video about her. If you guys don't know, she's a siren, and she's technically canon in the whole world, but no one really talks about her or even mentions her ever. So I'm going to keep bringing her up till everyone knows about her. So she's a siren. She has the power to control the beasts of any planet. That's what she says when she uses her power to make all the racks turn around and save the Vault Hunters that we do know, Lilith, Brick, Mordecai, and Roland, which was all broken down in the Borderlands Origins comic, or I have a video about that as well. Link will be in the description down below. It's called The Siren in the Borderlands Universe No One Knows About. You guys can watch that, learn all about Asha. I break down the comic, go through, show all the quotes and everything. But she came to Firestone and was knocked into a coma from an explosion. Just a little recap. She was protected by Tannis, and Tannis held her and kept her safe. Until then, she came out of the coma, used her powers to save the Vault Hunters, and then she left. And ever since then, we haven't heard anything about her. So she could be out there, and I would say out of all the people we're talking about, she's the most likely to actually show up in Borderlands 3 for the most part. She's an unused asset, I feel like, and a really cool character. Having a pet build is really cool, and like controlling other animals or even just characters could have a really good payoff. Number 3 is Captain Scarlet. So obviously people love her more than they like Tiny Tina. They always talk about her. People have talked about making her skill tree a pet build around Rocco. Skill trees where she can charm enemies to fight for her because she is like the pirate captain, which kind of makes sense. People have also like made skill trees where, oh, maybe if she has chances to upgrade skills and then more loot drops for her, more legendaries, more money. Maybe her melee override is a hook, you can pull enemies in, then she can shoot them down. Maybe, I've actually thought about making an entire video breaking down a lot of this stuff just because people ask about her all the time and she's such a popular character. But that's for another video, so Captain Scarlet. Number 4 is an Iridian. So I'm going to show a picture of the Watcher just because he's the most prominent, or she is the most prominent one. But people really have been asking for like another melee class, but they want it to be kind of a mix between Zero and Krieg. So they want the Iridian to have 2 energy katanas almost, and have more mobility than Zero, but then have the same action skill where you just don't get one swipe like Zero, but you have the Krieg action skill where you can just keep swiping and taking down enemies without having just to be super precise. And people have been asking for mobility classes. I think you'd be surprised at how often people want classes where they can mob very quickly without just using AoE damage and just single targeting things down really quickly. Which would be cool. I mean, I'm all down for an Iridian. One that turned to, instead of just protecting the vaults, they decide to actually fight for them and kind of see what they're protecting. So that'd be cool. They can make a really nice story about that. I think writing has actually gotten better for Borderlands, so maybe they will build on that. Just because, since Jack did kill so many Iridians, and for the most part the Vault Hunters always kill them too, so maybe one will be on our side. And finally, number 5 is Shadow Trap. Technically, he's still in Claptrap and alive. He wasn't killed at the end of the Claptastic Voyage DLC, where he was kind of the main villain. He could have, there's a lot of different possibilities for what his skill tree could be. He could have the same EXE system, but with darker skills that Claptrap had in the pre-sequel. He could have a lot of spray and pay type thing where he just boosts guns, does a ton of damage, does bleeding damage, does really dark things. Maybe, I always think it's really interesting to have a character that uses like their health as a skill. Like maybe to activate his, you have to use a little bit of your health, but you can use it wherever as long as you have health. That'd be really cool. Or a shorter cooldown, you can use your health, recharge it, or to do more damage. He can have a skill that he can hack into enemy robots or just enemies in general. A lot of possibilities in there, a lot of stuff he could do. Even if his main move was just turning into his big form, like that's his ultimate, that'd be fine, that'd be cool. So those are my 5 Vault Hunters that I chose as possibilities in Borderlands 3. They're definitely out there, they're not the stereotypical ones everyone chooses. Honorable mentions are Torg, because everyone always talks about that, even though I think Tiny Tina is a better character than him, but that's just me. And also Rice from Borderlands the pre-sequel. He was the main character in there, and he could be really good. He was also in my villain guide, but go check that out. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Who would you guys have added to this list? Would you have taken anyone out? And see you in the next one.